Very good evening, friends. Welcome to 360 Digit MG. It is our privilege today to have amidst us Mr. Mr. Subramanian Vasudevan. He is not only highly educated but also has enormous amount of experience in various domains. A graduate in mechanical engineer and multiple programs in various top business schools of our country. And the last stint was with Indian School of Business, has done his PGP Max program from there, and has worked across various functions, various domains in his entire career of close to 23 years. And the last two stints were when he was, the business director at Valspar Corporation, and after that he was the general manager sales and marketing in HSIL Limited Packaging Products Division. So he's the man who's been, dealing directly with various customers because he's a person of sales and marketing background. And currently he's the assistant vice president at RoboSilicon Private Limited, doing a lot of work in vendor development, doing a lot of work in supply chain management, and various other aspects. So without further ado, I would request Mr. Subramanian, a good friend of 360 Digit MG, to please enlighten us with his thoughts about the industry in general, and what RoboSilicon does in particular, and in the context of how it is going to help our participants in that field. Mr. Subramanian, please go ahead.
Thank you, Nitin. That was too generous of introduction. So basically, almost 20 plus years I've been into sales and marketing. So mostly into sales. So to keep it more simple, so what I've seen is around 4 different types of products which I've sold. One is definitely paints, so where I started my career. So, and also I transitioned to packaging products, which are basically products used for filling various FMCG products, or you can say liquor, pharma, multiple kind of products which are being filled. Then I now moved into construction industry. So broadly, these are the 3 industries which have been, and the domain in which I've been more working is on the sales domain. Marketing also was part of the domain, but mostly into sales. So my next few minutes will be on like how these industries are getting transitioned. That is something which I would like to brief you guys. Also, I would like to throw some light on what are the opportunities which people who are studying with 360 Digit MG and associated industries in data analytics and AI, where all the opportunities comes across in these industries where I have got some exposure. So that's what I would like to enlighten you guys. First of all, people say that COVID has been the biggest digital transformer, or somebody who is actually is the chief digital officer of the era, because COVID has transformed multiple things. So I was actually in the packaging domain that time, and we had a big boom during that time, because I think people who know or don't know, they have been using sanitizers. So we used to supply products for filling sanitizers. So when the demand peaks around exponentially, then the chaos starts. You have more orders, more demand, but ultimately it is the companies who has to serve the demand. So this is a very simple example to illustrate how a normal day-to-day organization who are engaged in processing some product, manufacturing, and then selling it, can transform into a company which deals with more data, more analyzing what is happening, understanding the trends and other things. So when this COVID stuck, everybody know that we all started working from home. But we as a company where I was working, so we didn't actually get stuck to our homes. So even on the month of April, when the peak lockdown was there, we had to be on continuous calls with our plants, with our designers and everybody, because there is a big surge on sanitizers. Sanitizers were all packed in, you will know, that plastic bottles and other things. So whatever work which we were doing in, I would say, 1.5 2 months time, we could do in within few weeks. That is only because of somebody was working on the past data which was there, and they were trying to tell us that this is the sequence of events which will happen if we use the existing data which is already there. Like for example, the way customers will fill the product, the way the ordering will happen, the plans from where we need to service, and how our vendors will support. So all these sequence which were there, we could understand better from whatever earlier data was there. So this is where I would say that a very day-to-day kind of an organization started using something which already was there, and there was somebody who was actually putting some interest around the available data which was there in the organization and trying to predict something. So these things you would be listening and learning from various, I would say, sessions which you are going through. But when you see it practically, so it is important to understand that we don't know how these things are going to work at the end of the delivery time. But what we definitely know is, with whatever we had in hand, we started using that. So that is how I would say that somebody who was more on field meeting customers, I was actually pushed back to look at what is happening, what happened earlier, and how we can predict something using the data which was there. So which maybe you guys will be doing much more professionally at this point. So this is a example which will happen across the organization, and it's still happening. There are various companies which are actually started focusing more on their what is available within them, and then using that for how they can use the data for using in their industries, and how they can be more customer centric. And another example I would like to give from my career is I had fortune to work with a joint venture of Asian Paints. So the company is PPG Asian Paints before my stint with Valspar. So I think everybody knows that Asian Paints was a pioneer in implementing certain professionalism in the organization by recruiting people from IIM and all those. And also, I don't know how many of you know, they were India's first private sector company to bring in a supercomputer. So now what it has done is, Asian Paints has created such a strong supply chain because of the data which they kept adding year on year for last, I would say, 50 years, 45 to 50 years kind of history which they have, by using the data, feeding the supercomputer, getting the results, and then optimizing and rejuvenating the data to ensure that whatever is going to happen is actually happening as per the data which they have, and they design things as per whatever they have predicted earlier, and keep correcting the like I would say, the output which are coming. So this is something which they were doing without knowing the nitty-gritties of the current model of what we call ML, AI and all. So when I was working with them, I could understand that a successful organization is built not by just putting some big brands or recruiting highly paid people into the system. It is about how you actually use what resources you already have, especially whatever data which they have been using in the from their systems and processes which they have been doing for last few years. So from there, their transition happened, and they have built something which none of their number 2, number 3, or number 4 guys could even come near to. That is the kind of power which data has given a company like Asian Paints, where they could build their entire model around how they can see a customer, understand what their demand is going to be, organize their vehicle fleet, and how they can use their past data to ensure that the vehicle fleet is optimized, and also the delivery happens time to time, and always the customer gets the right product which they want. And the same data also helped them to actually design something where they found that customer wants their own colors. I think all of you would be aware of the Mera Wala Blue campaign. So you can just take any color to any kind of Asian Paint shop and you can get that. So that also was actually derived from understanding the data which they already had, and they could really use that effectively to design number of colors which a customer want, and then keep adding to the color options which they were getting in future. So that is another example which I thought would be interesting for people who are listening. Coming to the current organization where I'm working, it is Robo Silicon Private Limited. So what we do is basically we supply building products. So to hear this, that okay, this is somebody who is involved in building, supplying products to construction or any construction related industry. But if you just go 2-3 steps deeper into this organization has been there for last 19 years, and we have built a strong brand in the market, and we are predominantly operating now in southern market. So as you all know that the hotspots for real estate in southern market are Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, and I would say the tier 2 cities like Vijayawada and some cities in Kerala. So these are all the prominent areas, and we operate predominantly in Hyderabad. And whoever are in Hyderabad will know the amount of construction which is happening in Hyderabad. So where does somebody who is pursuing a kind of I would like to become a data analyst, or I would like to see what we can do using these opportunities which are there. The first starts with the market itself. So the market has huge amount of data which is available. There are so much of reports which keep coming in, which gives a lot of in-depth knowledge on what all projects getting launched, how is the occupancy, and what are all the future opportunities which government is promising across around Hyderabad and around Telangana. And also there are various other aspects like which are all the builders who are getting approvals. So there are multiple things which somebody who has the data spectacles on their eyes will be able to view on from the market perspective. Coming to the next level, which is the company perspective. So as a company, as we have been one of the leaders in this kind of industry, so we know that managing customer is one of the key area where we have been using tools like CRM, and we also do a lot of data mining on understanding the trends of the customer. So if any organization has a CRM, then again there is a wealth of data which is getting generated there. So again, using that data effectively to ensure that we devise our pricing, our schemes, and our product offering to the customer as per the customer needs, and becoming more customer centric is another aspect where any data analyst can look at. Third opportunity is we operate 4 different plants across Hyderabad. So 4 plants means the amount of data points which each plant generates, right from the operation side, then the vehicle movement within the plant, then the vehicle movement from plant to the customer, the optimizing the distance, how vehicle moves from one location to another. Then even in the mining area where we do mining, we can use a lot of tools to understand how the fragmentation of the mineral is happening. How once we do something called blasting, where we blast the mines and then pick up the product. So how can we optimize those? There are some cloud-based technologies which are being adopted in this, where people have taken photographs and matching that with optimized photographs, where they know that this is the fragmentation which is needed. So that is a level of I would say the modern technologies are being adopted in the mining activities also. So again, there is a lot of wealth of data which gets generated. So that is another opportunity which anybody who is interested to work on data and understanding and analyzing data is something which they can use as an opportunity to move forward. So this is from the operation side. Then coming to the distribution side, we have multiple opportunities which comes. As I mentioned, vehicle movement is one. Second is every customer has their own delivery schedules. So how do we schedule a delivery to a customer, and how can we ensure that all the compliance related things like invoicing or supplying the delivery challan, payment slips, and also, like, that when somebody travels across Hyderabad, how many tolls you encounter. So there are multiple data points which come up, so which can help us to optimize the way we serve our products from our plant to the customer. So that is another area. And another big area is the scheduling part, production scheduling and also dispatch scheduling. So this is another area where we use a lot of tools to ensure that right material goes from the right plant to the customer's site or locations, what we call, and we use a measure called what if, which is on time in full, to ensure that customer gets the product at the right time in the ordered quantity. So this is a efficiency matrix which we use to ensure that whatever customer orders is getting delivered at the right time in the quantity in which they want the material. So these are all various opportunities which are available for somebody who has a keen eye on data, and who are ready to explore opportunities which can help an organization like us to scale to the next level. So now when I mention about this opportunities to scale, it is about we are bringing in certain systems and processes internally where we are trying to focus more on the efficiency part, optimizing, and also ensuring that we use them to scale our business. So on the efficiency part, both in the operation side and also on the distribution side, there are multiple things which we can do with what we already have. On the optimizing part, we know how we have been operating. So we have certain inputs which we have already generated, which can be used to further optimize and then give us better results so that our profitability can improve. Then scale. Any business where we are now, not RoboSilicon, but even any company, whatever they do, I think unless they do on a bigger scale, it becomes very difficult to go to the next level. So hence, using these as a building block, we would like to scale at least 3x in coming 4 to 5 years. So that is the vision in which we are working on. So what I will do is I will conclude my brief speech now telling that opportunities don't exist only in the regular banking and finance or FMCG or all the high funda companies which you have been seeing, but there are enough low-hanging opportunities which are available in organizations like us who actually do the brick and mortar kind of business, and who can actually go to a bigger scale if we use our already the wealth of data which we already have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subramanian. That was quite crisp and quite engaging. You've touched upon the various facets within your organization and the various aspects of data science applications that are possible. Viewers, for your reference, an ex-participant of 360-digit MG post her training with us is now employed with RoboSilicon, successfully placed there. So that should also be an impetus. And I would like to reiterate what Mr. Subramanian has mentioned. Don't chase the Infosys and the Wipros and the Deloittes of the country, and also look for various other companies. And you could probably, be the head as the chief data scientist within the organization, and you could probably run the entire data science division in organizations like this, because many organizations may not even be aware about the power of analytics. RoboSilicon is lucky that way. They were always forward looking, but many organizations may not be there. And entering those organizations and setting up the analytics vertical would be very, very beneficial for your personal growth. So thank you very much, Mr. Subramanian, for that insightful talk. And we hope we'll see a lot of traction amongst our participants and viewers on this regard. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. Thanks for the opportunity. I would like to just add one more, as you rightly mentioned, like you can be a big fish in a ocean, you can be a small fish in a bigger ocean like Infosys, but the same fish in a lake can be much bigger. So your visibility and recognition and opportunities, what you get when you work either in a startup or an organization which is looking to scale very quickly, the complexity and the variability which it brings always helps the individual to build his career better.
Agree to that. On that note, thank you so much. We hope to have further connections on this regard. Thank you so much, Mr. Subramanian.
Sure. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.